And welcome to CoolPaintr VR, and we're going to continue with our demonstrations on painting made easy. As I've said before, one of the features of I'm going to go to diffuse here. One of the features of CoolPaintr is being able to load in a picture and then being able to paint over that. This is the picture that we're going to be working on today. And in the previous ones, we did silhouettes where we had a background and the foreground was black. This is different. This is a picture of a dog, and but we're not going to worry about the background. We're going to let the background just be whatever we have in our background here, and we're just going to work on the dog. And we're going to start with the eyes and the face. I think that's probably the best way to get started. I think when you work with the eyes and working outward from there, you get a sense of the animal. And so we've got some grays here, and so looking over here at our, let's go ahead and get some, start putting some grays in here. I'm using the flat brush, and going ahead and putting in some of those grays. And we'll put some grays in here. And we have some grays right there in the middle. And then we'll go back to the dark gray on the other side here. And I'm kind of working underneath that lighter gray that I put in there. And I think that, okay. Alright, so now we've got our eye in here. And let's go ahead and continue using this dark gray that's pretty close to being a black. And let's just go ahead and put that in here. And remember that when we're using the flat brush, that we control the width of that brush by the pressure that we put on the trigger. So we're going to go ahead and put that in there. And continue down here. Okay. Now let's go back and get a lighter gray. Put that in there. And a still lighter gray for in here. So I'm going to be simplifying this a little bit. That's a little bit dark. Here. And up here as well. Alright, and this is a kind of a light blue right here. And then a little bit darker. It's got a little bit of a purple in it. Let's just add a little bit more red to that right there. Yeah, it's a little bit dark. Let's go a little bit lighter on that. And so on and so on. Keep working on those shades. And okay. Alright, now I'll go over here. And I think that shade right there should work. Let's go ahead and put this in here. I'm going to have to rearrange my thing here. Let's move this up a little bit so I can work in this area right here. We'll go back and we'll get some dark grays here, and we can just go ahead and pretty much put this whole section in here, just using that big flat brush and filling that in. And it looks like we've got that pretty much done right there. Let's go over here and we'll work on the nose next, and the front of the jowls here. Again, we're going to go ahead and put in that dark gray. Sometimes it's hard to see when you're putting dark over dark just what you've done and what you haven't done, but I'll show you how we'll check on that in just a minute. Okay, then we've got a light gray in here, which is the nose, and then we've got some light gray over here, and some light gray in here. Continue to put in that gray. You can see all the little different colored grays here. There's probably 20 different little shades of gray, but we're not going to worry about putting all of those in. We're just going to take the basic value that we have here and put that in, and that will be just fine. All right, let's just finish up here with this gray on top of the nose. And I think we can pretty much figure that we're done there. All right, and put in a little bit of lighter gray there. All right, and then we'll go ahead and put in that white. Select that white, and starting up here, gently holding that trigger, and then as we move down we can make that whiter. Okay. I'm working fairly quickly here. You may be able to spend a little more time on this and get a little bit more detail in, but for what I'm working on, this will do. All right, and then down here, go back up here to the dark gray and put that in. And back to the white. All right, so let's just take a look and see where we are. We're going to just push this back a little bit, and let's now we want to get rid of that background picture so we can see where we are, and you can see that it's taking shape. It's taking shape. It doesn't look totally finished, obviously, but you can see there's a area there that's probably needs to be put some color in, and it looks like there might be a little area down there yet. So, but let's go ahead and put the picture back, and let's continue to work on that head. Let's work on the ears, and there we go. Let's work on the ears now, and we're going to be working in browns now, so let's go over here to some brown color, and let's get that. That's almost white, so let's get that real light, and there we go. And over here is a little not quite as white. go ahead and put that in. And as it gets down here, it gets darker. And darker still. Alright, and then up here it's quite dark. So we'll go ahead and put that in. Okay, and right there, and we've got some darks right there, and right there. Okay. This is kind of a bluish color, so let's go back to our blues and get a kind of a dark, kind of a medium blue there. And we'll just pop that in there. I'm not going to worry about all the different gradations. Just going to simplify that. Get that blue in there. It's a kind of a pretty color, and it'll add a little interest there. And then let's go up here and click on brown, and let's see, that's a little bit darker. Let's see here. What color would that be? Let's go ahead and put this in here. And the lighter one. All right. And that is, again, kind of that little bit of a purple color, so let's get a little bit more red in that. You wouldn't think that that you would have purple in a dog, but it's we don't have to have this looking exactly like a dog. It can have a little bit of color there. Try to get this down where you folks can see, and we'll just continue to work on this. Alright, let's go up here and work on this one, and that one's going to be a dark brown. Get that angle there. Alright, as long as we've got that color in, we'll go ahead and put this in down here as well. And go back up here and get a little bit more of a gray color. Put that in here. Oops. You may notice that when I'm putting these colors in, very often I'm trying to put a color behind another color, working with layers. It's just kind of an intuitive thing. All right, that seems to be making some progress there. Let's go back up and get a lighter color for the other side of the ear here. And lighter still in here. All right, you see that. Oops. And we'll go back in here to the browns, and let's see, that looks like a fairly decent color right there. I'll put that in, and we'll just start filling this large area here. Okay. Yeah. And looks looks like that takes care of a lot of that. And let's see, we got this color again. Gotta go back in and put that. That's awfully purple. Let's not. Let's get something that's not quite that purple. Get that in there. And this darker piece right here. All right. Let's move that back and let's just finish this up. This is all we have left, and I think that we can do that pretty quickly. Let's go get a brown, a fairly light brown right there, and put this in. Maybe a little bit lighter than that. Alright, now we'll go ahead and put in a little darker shade here. This is a little bit rough. I probably should take a little bit more time with that, but I'm anxious to get this done. So let's go. We're looking for a brownish, a little bit more of a brownish blue. Let's see, that's going to be tricky. A little bit more orange. And I guess we'll go with that. Let's go ahead and use that down here. I'm going to have to raise this up. Oh, I can see we still haven't done this area right in here. Let's get that done. And that would be about, let's say about that color right there, maybe a little bit darker. Okay, let's put that in. All right. All right, and back to the browns, and get a kind of a darker color here. Put that in. Again, I'm just working pretty quickly here. Let's move this down a little bit so I can get access here. We're gonna put that in. This is a large area that we can fill pretty quickly here, and we just want to make sure that we get that color filled in without leaving too many open spaces. That's probably close enough, and let's do this one here. And once again, we're just working quickly, just filling in. This is the neck here is just, there's not a lot of detail. We just want to make sure we get the color in to cover that up, and go back up to a lighter one. And it looks like we've got a lot of coverage here. I think we're pretty close to being done. And so let's put in that, whoops, let's see here. Let's go to a black here, and let's put in this, what seems to be a collar. All right, and then let's put this black in here. right, well, there may be some empty spaces, but I think that for the most part we've got this done. It's a little ragged down there, but again, working quickly. Looks like there's an empty space right there. Whoops. Looks like there's an empty space right in there. Let's fill that in with a dark brown. So we get that finished up there, and it looks like we also need some little color in there. All right, so let's go ahead and push this back, and let's see what we have here. We're going to, oh, we didn't do the bottom of the neck. All right, oops. Let's go ahead and get the bottom of the neck here. That seems like a fairly obvious thing we need to do. And that's kind of a light blue, real light blue. All right, so let's put that in here. And we'll finish that up with a white. All right, so let's, again, let's push this back, and we will now, whoops, we don't need that. Let's go ahead and take away the picture here, and here we have our bulldog. Done very quickly, but I think it came out pretty well. You can see what the process was in creating this. And you can see actually it's quite easy if you take your time and you just look at basic shapes and fill in values. Don't worry about matching colors as much as it is just about getting values in. And there we go. One last thing I can show you, and that is what's known as the redraw, which I think is a fascinating thing, where the computer redraws the painting that you've created stroke by stroke. And so the way we do that is we go into our mode menu, and we go to save, and we go to save to USB. Here we click our little picture, and then we wait about 10 seconds and it should redraw. And if it doesn't, just save it again, and sometimes it takes 2 or 3 tries, but eventually it will redraw. So let's see here. Well, thanks for watching this demonstration of painting made easy with CoolPaintr VR. If you liked it, enjoyed it, click like, and if you'd like to see more, why not subscribe? Until next time, keep painting and enjoy your time with CoolPaintr VR.